What's going on, guys? We're back in the saddle with a movie review for you today. I'm Hunter. His name's Brett.
Hi, I'm Brett.
Prickett.
Damn. Full government name.
I wanted to lay it all out there for you, buddy.
Hunter Gregory?
Yep.
Higgins?
Wow, good job. See, we're tight like that.
Last four social?
Yeah, no. Oddly enough, maybe one number in there somewhere.
Don't say that.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't announce
Don't
that.
fucking say that.
Anyways, we got a movie review for you guys.
We do. We have a movie review for you guys.
So earlier in the week, we talked about how we have a new format. We're going to break things apart into two different episodes now instead of one huge, massive, impending doom episode. We're now going to break it up into Rio Grande News, where we talk about and yammer about all the cool pop culture stuff that we enjoy and appreciate. And then we're going to throw a movie review at you in a separate episode.
Yeah.
Which today, now, is that separate episode of a movie review.
He explained that so much more concisely than I did in the news episode.
No, you did great. I thought you had a lot better detail.
I mean, I went more into the why as opposed to like just the how, and then you just kind of covered the how, which is all that was really necessary.
Well, there's people that's going to want to know how the sausage is made, Brett.
That is true. That is true.
I think we covered it all.
So if you haven't watched the news episode yet,
get your ass over there.
Go over there and check it out. Link in the description.
So today we are going to be reviewing Doom from 2005. At the end of our news podcast, we talked about the upcoming Doom The Dark Ages game. I shouldn't say upcoming. It's not coming out for another year.
We got a bit of a... I mean, that is still technically upcoming, but
right.
It's a bit of a ways off.
It got us pumped up. We were hyped about it, and Brett brought up the fact that he would like to watch one of the Doom films. There's two of them that I know of. This one and then Doom Annihilation, which I believe came out in 2019. Mm-hmm. I've never seen that movie. It has really bad reviews.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's like a 3.8 on Metacritic. So we didn't go for that one.
No.
I stuck with The Devil I Knew and told Brett I'd like to do Doom 2005. This is a movie that whenever I was like in middle school, I got it on DVD for Christmas one year, and I watched it a lot. I really, really liked this movie when I was young.
Which is so funny. So for reference...
It is funny. It is. Especially after watching this again.
For reference, I was 2 years old when this movie released.
It's crazy that I'm so old. Thank you for letting everybody know I am old. I will be 31 at the end of July.
That's not that. You're exactly 10 years older than me then.
I'm old.
That's only a decade. Only a decade older than me.
Well, I'm going to get out of here and go take some more Metamucil
before I
go to bed.
Well, I'll go with him. I got to help him walk up the stairs.
No, you don't have to put me in my little escalator stair wheelchair thing.
He's got a Stairmaster.
Yeah, that's what it is. So I was telling Brett that Doom, we both like Doom. The Doom franchise is awesome. We talk about that in the news podcast about how much we enjoy the Doom franchise. Whenever I was really, really young, I didn't have a mom for a while, and my dad would have like several different people babysit me, and one of those groups of people was our next door neighbors. Shout out Gary and Cheryl.
Shout out Gary and Cheryl.
Gary, he PC gamed, and this is the late 90s, 97, 98, 99, right around there. And my first introduction to any video game really at all was him playing Doom on the PC, the original Doom. So I've always just been fascinated with that franchise. This movie, it's got some interesting qualities about it, to say the least. But so Brett, I'm going to go ahead and break down some of the stats here. It was directed by Andrzej Bartkowiak.
Yeah, what a cool fucking name. When the credits rolled, I was like, that's a sick name.
Yeah, and he's actually directed some not great movies.
I was going to ask what else he has under his belt.
But there's some of the people from my age group, we grew up watching Jet Li films, and he did a couple of them. One of them was Romeo Must Die. Another one, it's probably not Jet Li's, but it's probably this director's best reviewed film. He also did another one that I had on DVD, Cradle to the Grave.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, it was a cool movie. It was Jet Li and DMX, and
Oh wow.
Yeah, they like do a heist, and the guy they steal diamonds from, he kidnaps DMX's daughter, and they have to like take the diamonds back. And I don't know, it's kind of a dumbass movie, but it's got some cool fight scenes in it. Shout out Jet Li. I love Jet Li.
Shout out Jet Li.
And he's actually like a pretty tough actor. Have you ever seen the movie Hero?
No.
I have not either, but I heard it's like a great movie.
Is that another Jet Li one, or is that another one that
Jet Li, not this guy. No, this guy starts to go downhill pretty quick. After the cool movies with Jet Li, he made Doom. And then in 2009, he made the world-renowned Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li, 3.7 out of 10.
And that was the second Street Fighter movie, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That had, and it didn't it like not have any of the original people in it?
And then, no. Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
And then to round out his directing projects, in 2017, he made a movie called Maximum Impact.
That's another sick fucking name, dude. This guy knows how to pick scripts.
It is a 2.3 out of 10.
Damn. Never mind.
And then in 2020, Dead Reckoning, 3.8 out of 10. So
Dead
Reckoning.
Mission Impossible?
No.
Separate.
No. Yeah,
Just
totally
Dead
different.
Reckoning.
Yeah.
Because the newest Mission Impossible was Dead Reckoning, wasn't it?
Yeah, it came out last year.
Oh, okay.
Maximum Impact has Danny Trejo in it.
Put that on the list. That sounds sick as fuck.
Yeah. Well,
Don't believe the reviewers.
Yeah.
Form your own opinions.
So anyways, moving on from that director's shining filmography. This movie stars Carl Urban, Rosamund Pike, Dwayne Johnson, and Richard Brake. This movie was budgeted for $60 million.
Ridiculous.
Which is a lot in
2005. 60 million in 2005 is crazy.
I didn't look at what studio forked up all that money, but that's
It was
crazy.
Universal.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Had that cool title sequence.
It did. Dude, and I was so excited after that. I was like, oh, they got sauce? They got sauce in here? Just for that.
They dumped the whole ragu out right there in that title sequence, baby.
Yeah.
It only grossed $58 million worldwide.
It almost broke even. Got so close to breaking even.
Well, they say like technically you don't even really break even unless you like earn like 10 million more.
Well, yeah, because you gotta fees and
right. This film is scored and soundtrack by actually a very good composer, Clint Mansell. I listen to a lot of like not drone music, but along those lines. I'll listen to like slow jazz and stuff like that sometimes when I read comic books and I'm chilling. And sometimes this guy's stuff comes up on my Spotify recommended. So I've listened to him before. He's pretty good. So Doom 2005. Let me open the synopsis here. If I can get my phone to work properly.
you can do it, buddy.
Yeah, I got you. Space Marines are sent to investigate strange events at a research facility on Mars, but find themselves at the mercy of genetically enhanced killing machines in the near future. Okay, Brett.
It's a pretty apt synopsis. That is what happens.
Yep. So Doom 2005. That's the plot. We laid it out there for you. What do you think of this plot? Right off the bat, it's flawed. I'm going to say that right there. But you go ahead.
It's fine. I think it's...
That's a bad Brett Prickett. It's fine. I can tell.
It's a good starting point for trying to work out what a Doom movie should be.
You're right.
A bit basic, but that's, it's...
That's all you need.
It's Doom. You don't need to get too fucking complicated with it.
Yeah.
Now, that's in concept. In execution, not as pleased.
So I'm going to interject here just a little bit. So just right there saying that, and I'm not like, it's not devout to the game. It needs to do this, this, and this. In the games, you're not really fighting genetically enhanced individuals. You're character is at a research facility on Mars that accidentally opens a portal to hell, and you have to fight demons and send them back to hell before they go back to Earth.
Now I wasn't there, but was there any world events in 2005 that may have made them apprehensive to use hell?
I don't think so.
Okay. I was just because it's good to sometimes look at things in the context of their period, but
not that I can think of.
But I didn't think of anything off the top of my head. There's a quote that I like to throw around. I've definitely used it on the show before. It's a quote from Cosmonaut Marcus, a very good YouTuber that I like. Link in the description. But it's very simple, right? Change is okay as long as it's change for the better. Mm-hmm. If it's change that services to improve upon something, or maybe recontextualize something in a better way than the original may have, then that's fine. I'm cool with change. I like change. I like iteration. I like to see new takes on things. But when you start getting into changing things just for the sake of it, it's just like, because it's like, why? Yeah. Why can't it would be simpler to just make it demons from hell.
Yeah.
It would be easier on the writers to make it demons from hell instead of these genetically mutated they went Resident Evil with it instead of Doom.
And here's the thing too with that. At this point in time in 2005, I think that the film industry did not understand how to perform as someone say Venom would, leaning into camp, knowing that you're trying to have a good time with things. You can have this ridiculous plot.
And I will also say, so I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're
if you
fine.
had
that
more
was
places to go.
it.
I will also say 2005 was still the time when Hollywood was ashamed of video games being what they were. They wanted to capitalize on these properties, but did not want to give them any respect.
Yeah.
Right? Which we have since moved past. Video game movies have not been that bad for a very long time now, in my opinion. I think we figured it out. We figured out that
they're no longer the underbelly of the film industry.
We have figured out how to do a good video game movie. 2005 was not a time where we knew how to do that. They thought video games were silly for kids. They weren't complex enough. There wasn't enough to chew on.
Yeah.
So they were always changing things from the source material to serve a different audience, which is strange because who's going to go see a Doom movie? Doom fans,
the people that play the
people
game.
that like the games,
right?
So to alienate them so immediately is a weird choice.
Yeah. Yes, I agree 100%. So to move into that with the setting and the set design and everything here, the setting is pretty good, whereas it's still the same as the game. You're on Mars and Earth back and forth a little bit, but you spend time in hell in the game, which could have been really badass.
It could have been sick. Well, maybe not with the effects team on this one, but
here's the other thing though. I think they had the budget to make it look sick.
You would think.
We don't know what they spent their money on. So
yeah, we'll get into that.
Okay, well we're talking about the set design.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I was pushing it over.
There are some cool sets.
Yes.
And when they do use practical effects, I think this is one of the film's strong points is the imps and the demons in quotes.
Yes. We'll be calling them demons for the purposes of this review, but they are not.
Yeah, spoiler alert, they're genetically altered humans that just get injected with infected with a extra chromosome and become psychopathic monsters.
Crazy plot, by the way.
Yeah.
Great,
yeah.
I
know who come up with that.
I don't,
2005 was a different time.
Not that, it still existed. Like
it was a different time.
That was still like,
hey man,
we knew about it.
I'm gonna tell you, like
we knew that's how it worked.
2013 was even a different time. Okay,
yeah, but they knew how it worked in 2005. So it was just strange.
People have learned how to read the room a lot better in the past 5 years. I'm gonna tell you that right now, Brett. But anyways, this movie doesn't deserve any excuses. Anyways, the practical effects look good. Everything looks really gross and gooey. There's a sequence in the movie where one of the imps pops out of the dark and at first you can only see two of its eyes.
Dude, that genuinely like scared me.
Yeah,
That put
that
a
was
pit in my
freaky.
stomach.
Yeah.
That shot put a pit in my stomach.
And then only two of its eyes are open, and it out of nowhere, like 7 more eyes pop open, and it comes lashing out, and it's a pretty good sequence. And then, even though it only lasts 5 seconds, and then there's some other cool sequences. I think about 2/3 of the way through the movie. Really, it's like the third act before the big fight at the end. There's a first-person shooter sequence, and I really enjoy that sequence. Brett pointed out a few things to me that takes away from that. The CGI in this whole sequence is kind of shitty. And
I do actually, honestly, thinking back on it, I believe that most, if not all of that, might have been CG.
Well, you want to know what I think? After you pointed it out, I think it was...
Because even the camera movements felt digital.
There was some weird layering on the screen. I think you know what it looked like to me? It looked like kind of whenever you play a light gun game and there's live action like people.
Yeah, I think the live action
just
segments
on, like,
might have been
mapping.
Might have been green screened onto a full CG sequence.
Yeah, and it was weird. And it made me sad because I was like, Brett's gonna hate this movie, but he's gonna like this first person shooting sequence.
I'll go more into that in a minute. Did you have anything else you wanted to add there?
That's pretty much the pluses. Is the practical effects are pretty good, and I like the nano wall thing too. I thought that was kind of cool. But other than that, they sucked. CGI sucked. Go ahead.
On the topic of setting, and just like the sets in general, I think they look good. The Jesus, I'm cutting this out.
Jesus was not in the movie, just so everybody knows. Brett's currently dying.
Yeah, I'm being smitten right now, smote, if you will. I still didn't get it all, but this is just my life, I guess. On the terms, the set construction, I think, looks really nice. All the stuff in UAC, it kind of blends together. It's kind of hard to tell where people are from scene to scene because all the rooms look exactly the same.
I'm glad you brought that up. I want to say something about that in a minute too.
There is, however, they go into the sewers at one point, and I think the sewers look great. Like, just like weirdly stand out. I think the sewers looked really nice.
They did look cool.
I liked the practical water that they were wading through. I think it looked proper, dirty and grimy sewer water. I think the weathering on like the pipes around them and like the moss and the mold and just like everything looked damp.
Yeah.
And it was shot very dark, but it didn't look bad, right? Like a lot of times when movies do like shots in dark locations, it just like can't see anything.
Yeah, can't see
but
shit.
But it was very well lit for the lighting they were going for, and I just think and in the sewers is where that sequence with the eyes happens. And I think all of that was done really well. I think all of that whole stretch looked great.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up like the UAC facilities and everything because they do look pretty cool. They look very like corpo, shiny, glossy, stainless steel, everything. And then the interiors of the labs look like labs. But one of the bad things about the set design is it's almost gives the vibe of when they're on what is the research station called on Mars? Oladavi or something like that.
Yeah.
Oladai. I don't know. Anyways, it's almost like they go in the same lab room 6 different times. It's like there's 4 different lab rooms and they're all in one hallway and that's it. Mm-hmm. And then I know that the sewer does look good, but at the same time, they're at like this state-of-the-art, futuristic, high-tech facility.
I didn't even think about that. And
but
they got
that's
this,
what
like,
your plumbing looks
this
like.
Dingy, like New York fucking sewer.
Like I was thinking about it after we talked about that earlier. I was like, man, this looks like the first plumbing that was ever invented.
Yeah,
this is straight out of fucking Rome.
I did not even think about that. Yeah, that is strange. They just have this like very archaic sewer system under this fucking space lab on Mars.
So it didn't make a lot of sense. But so that was all I had to add about the setting and everything, set design. So moving on to some of the characters in this movie, kind of a decent cast, solid cast here. The top three build Carl Urban, Rosamund Pike, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Okay, I should make sure I did write him down and say him earlier. Those are three pretty prominent names in the film industry right now. I know that you were saying earlier Carl Urban really isn't as big probably as the other two, but The Boys, that's the flagship show on Amazon. And everybody knows who The Rock is. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's probably one of the highest paid actors.
He's been hard to get away from recently.
Yeah. And then Rosamund Pike, her career kind of took off a little bit more. I know her from Gone Girl, but she's been in a lot of other pretty prominent movies, some indie films too that I know a lot of people love.
I recognize the name more than I do the face.
I think it's a cool name.
Like I didn't know. Like if you had pointed to her before you said her name, was like, who is that? I would not have been able to tell you. And I haven't seen her in anything else. But when you said the name, I recognized it.
I think she has a really cool name, Rosamund. She has been a Bond girl.
Oh yeah,
and Die Another Day. Not a good movie. She was in Pride and Prejudice. She was in Saltburn.
Holy shit.
She was Elspeth.
Yes, she was the mom.
Yeah.
Because she looked familiar, but I was like, I've definitely not seen her before. It was fucking Saltburn. Terrible movie, by the way.
Yeah.
I shit on Saltburn any chance I get. Don't watch that movie. If you like things that are good.
So, all the characters here, as far as the acting goes and what the characters are portrayed as, the dialogue's terrible in this movie, in my opinion. Everybody is a caricature of what you would think they'd be. Mm-hmm. It's like a Saturday morning. It's like a G.I. Joe episode with all these Space Marines nicknames. You got Sarge, Reaper.
Very few people in this movie are doing a good job. Some of them did. Okay, this is something I thought about.
I don't think any actor was interesting in this movie.
That I just remembered. Did Destroyer speak?
Yeah, he did a little bit.
Did he have any lines? Okay.
Yeah. They weren't good, but...
Because I couldn't tell you any of them.
Yeah, and even, like, I think maybe the only character that is hamming it up in a good way is Richard Brake as Portman, but he's such a
he just sucks
an unlikable
so
character that he's such a, like,
and he
nasty
makes it far too far into the movie.
Yeah. So I really, really don't enjoy a single character in this movie. Carl Urban ends up being the lead man and the hero at the end of the movie. And, that's great for Carl Urban, but it doesn't really say anything or do anything interesting.
Carl Urban's character is protagonist.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's the guy.
He
doesn't do much dooming, but he is the doom guy.
He's the guy. He's guy.
Yeah. So elaborate a little bit there with me.
So in terms of the characters, they're fine. We were talking before.
That's a bad fine.
No, that one's a genuine fine. I have no strong opinions on any of them because there's just no strong opinions to be held. Mm-hmm. They are there to die, and John is there to be the protagonist, and The Rock is there to be the bad guy.
Yeah,
like that is what these people are and what they are here for in this movie. I will say I did like the subversion of Sam being John's sister instead of a begrudging love interest.
Yeah. I
think too many movies try to force a love interest and do not explore other relationships like that. So them being brother and sister, I think was a cool choice.
Yes.
Not that it matters or comes across in the movie at all, because the only reason we know they are brother and sister is because they mention it every 5 minutes.
They say it out loud.
Every scene they have together, they are talking about how either they have the same parents or they are brother and sister.
Rosamund Pike,
just in case you forget.
Rosamund Pike is genuinely a good actress, and she is not good in this movie. There's a couple sequences where it's like some spooky stuff is happening, and she's just screaming, and it's almost like somebody's at the side of the off camera and just like, okay, scream now.
Yeah.
Okay, do it again.
Dude, that
do it
scene,
one more time.
That scene was so funny.
Yeah, I heard you laughing.
There's a scene where one of the previously murdered Marines, his code name was Goat. He does not matter. He's murdered.
He really does.
And he is turned into one of these mutants. And he comes up from his body bag, and via his connection to the Lord, he is able to have enough consciousness to kill himself before he fully turns.
Who is like the least mattering Marine in this movie?
Mac, for sure.
What about his death, where he just gets his head swatted clean
just
off?
Slapped off. No fanfare. Just a clean decap, and he's out of the movie.
That was like the only like semi-cool death too, but it wasn't even that good. No blood. Yeah. It was so dark you couldn't see
I would definitely say Mac. The only reason it's not Destroyer is because he has a cool fight.
That fight sucked.
I thought it was neat. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool.
He like does like a jump up, like a wire food jump in the air, like fucking hammer fist.
Dude, when he's using the fucking computer monitor,
really laughing at that. Yeah,
but in like a cool way. He uses the fucking computer monitor as a gravity hammer, dude. That thing is so fucking cool.
It looked like everything was in slow motion.
but Mac is definitely the least mattering Marine.
Yeah.
But Goat comes back to life. He uses his connection to God to will himself to death. And he does so by bashing his zombie head off of a window. And he does it like 5 times. And Rosamund Pike gives out an individual scream every time he slaps his head against this window. And after the 3rd time, it's like, okay, you cannot still be surprised by this. The fuck are you talking about? He's done it 3 times now.
Yeah.
What are you thought it would be different? Like it is so funny. Hunter just mentioned I laughed out loud. I was like, no fucking way, dude.
You know something else about this movie too, talking about it being a product of its time. So Richard Brake's character, Portman, is supposed to be the sleazy, slimy, pervert, nobody likes him guy on the crew. And he like says some like really gross things throughout the movie. But then there's another character that makes another one of the Marines, Duke, makes it through the movie rather far, but he is also
he wants to bone Sam so fucking bad.
Yeah, Sam is Rosamund Pike's character's name, and he is also very creepy and over the top.
He is
towards her. But guess
she's like into it.
Yeah, I guess it's okay because he's like,
she's
not a
down
bad guy
for it. Yeah, he's nice about it technically, so he gets away with it.
I don't know. He doesn't matter either. He tries to be like, they try to set him up like he's like the comic relief type Marine.
But he also does not do
super
really
unfunny,
anything.
Super unfunny.
Yeah.
The only time this movie is funny is whenever it's trying not to be, and like especially The Rock. You want to talk about stereotypes?
Dude, The
Rock's character as Sarge is so over the top.
No one in this movie is doing a good job, but The Rock is doing the worst job.
You can tell this is early in his acting career.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like the director told him, okay, we need more vitriol from you. We need more command. You're the commander. You're in the lead.
And he just gets louder. Yeah. That's all he hears.
He'll throw a motherfucker in there.
Yeah.
You know? And his lines are so stupid.
Semper Fi, motherfucker.
Yeah. It's like a pull cord.
Yeah,
on his
he
back.
also has. Yeah, he has. So that's a line that he says, but he also in the opening shot has Semper Fi tattooed across his traps, but it's like it's not filled in, so it's just like the outline of text.
It looks like shit,
and it's like really faded.
So I have lettering tattooed on my shoulders, and it hurt really bad. Mm-hmm. But it's all like filled in and has shading and everything. It was 2 settings. And like, I just thought to myself when I saw that, I was like, it must have hurt so bad getting the outline. He just didn't want to go get the rest filled in.
Yeah.
Like, he's so tough, but he didn't want more of that tattoo.
Yeah. What's another thing about, I had one other thing about the performance. Oh, so Carl Urban is from New Zealand. Mm-hmm. Carl Urban is from New Zealand. So he has a New Zealand accent. In this movie, he is attempting an American accent, and it is not good.
No, it's not.
And again, and Carl Urban in this movie is another example of, and I don't know how early in his career, I don't know if this was pre or post Dread. I don't know what he had done before this. This is pre-Dread.
Yeah.
So this is pretty early in his career as well. So can't knock him too hard. But another great actor who is just doing a really bad job in this movie. Granted, I couldn't tell you anything that he said because none of it was very memorable.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that it sounded really funny when he did say it. because it's just like it wasn't. Just the American accent was just something he did not have a grasp on before starting filming on this movie.
You know what I noticed?
Damn, did he try?
Well, you know what I noticed? I think he was trying to do to help himself. He would slow his lines down.
Yes, he talked so slow.
Yeah, and it was like maybe he was just trying to do that to sound like dark
maybe
and brooding.
Maybe he's trying to be stoic.
Yeah,
but either way,
it sucked.
It was not good.
Which that kind of rolls into the way this film was written. These guys that wrote this movie are not very good at their jobs.
They spent so much time thinking of the bullshit explanation for the mutagen virus,
which made no sense,
that they did not put any care or thought into any other aspect of the script.
It's like every character was given like 5% of something to chew on and work with.
Yeah.
And then they put like 80% of what they wrote into this plot of why these were turning into demons. Them being on Mars has nothing to do.
Nothing to do with it. Which great. Does it have much to do with it in the games?
It does. It does. They found that other species that previously had the 24th chromosome or whatever, and that's where they were able to.
Right.
But other than that, why are we even on Mars? It doesn't matter. Like, it would have been cooler if they just made it like they got attacked by aliens on Mars. Like, I would have liked that more.
Exactly. And I thought that's what they were doing. When when the monsters first started popping up, I was like, oh, aliens.
When the monsters first started popping up, like 45, 50 minutes into the movie. Like the one monster.
I was like, okay, I see. Aliens. Instead of demons, we're doing aliens. That's fine. Some time passes. Oh, they're fucking mutants? Why? That's strange. Also, if it doesn't turn you into a mutant, it turns you into a fucking superhero.
Yeah, that happens like in the big final act, the big fight sequence between Carl Urban and The Rock.
And also the virus is sentient and knows whether you deserve to be a monster or a superhero.
It's like Santa Claus as a virus. Like it knows if you're naughty or nice.
But instead of Cole, you turn into a freak.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. Damn, I was going to say something else. I can't remember now. Shit. But anyways, the entire plot and premise there is so terrible. Oh, yeah, now I remember. You were going to say, or you did say earlier that it tries to, like, emulate Alien.
Yes, it felt very Alien.
Well, here's...
But, like, bad.
Yeah, here's what I'm going to say about that. It does. You can tell it's trying to do that. But, the Doom games are balls to the wall, over the top action. If you want to make something that's close to the source material, you're fucking it up. Secondly, B, an Alien, you don't see the monster that often. When you do, it's kind of few and far between. We do wait a while before we see the xenomorph.
But at least the characters up until that point are far more likable.
Way more interesting. The dialogue choices are so much more believable. And the world building for the original Alien, in my opinion, well, I would say you probably agree, is a lot better than what this film produced.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And if you want to hear more on those thoughts, go watch our review of Alien.
Check out our Alien review.
Link in the description.
Hell yeah, bro.
Always be plugging.
Yeah. So, the writing and screenplay was not good. And then the way this movie was directed, no offense to my boy with the cool name, I'm not trying it again. This movie was, he didn't help these guys perform at all.
No.
A couple of these people, and we know, like The Rock, Rosamund Pike, they go on to do bigger, better things. Nobody gets held up higher. And I don't think that this director did the first-person shooter sequence at the end of the movie. If he did, I do think it's a cool sequence. I know that you think it's better in theory than it is in execution. But then, like, whenever we do have any action in this movie, they're just kind of, like, running away and shooting their gun wildly.
Yeah.
Don't hit anything. And then at the end of the movie, when you get the big face-off between Carl Urban and The Rock, it's not a well choreographed fight at all.
No.
The sound design's hilarious. It's like they got like clips from a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers episode from like 1994.
I mean, it was kind of choreographed like one too. There was some wire fu going on in there.
Yes, there was. I thought that there was wire fu used in this like 3 times, which is funny because this dude directed like Jet Li movies.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
That fits.
But that is also...
Does it make sense in a Doom movie?
Well, it's annoying because if you're going to have this cool fist fight scene, like if you have a background in that shit, why is it not good? So,
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I have to say about it. I'm ready to give my stellar review here.
I gotcha.
Rating.
I'll jump into some closing thoughts. The name of the game here is good concepts with bad execution. And a fundamental misunderstanding of what this movie should have been from the very start of production.
Yes.
They went horror. They should have gone action. Granted, if they had gone full action, I don't know if that would have made it any better because the action that we did get wasn't great, but it would have at least been more interesting.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been boring.
The worst thing a movie can do is bore me. The worst movie... Take our Madam Web review, for example. The worst movie can still be a good time as long as it isn't boring. And the first, hour of this movie is such a fucking slog that I could not stand it.
Yeah. My boy was nodding off.
I was like... And you know what? The points where I did nod off, when I snapped myself out of it, I didn't miss a damn thing.
Yeah. You're like, oh, they're still just talking.
They're still just walking through the dark hallway. They're still shooting each other. Nothing dialogue. I'm not missing much. And then on top of that, with the strange changes to the lore, it just didn't make a lot of sense. I will say, I don't want to be too big of a Susie Downer. So I'm going to talk about some things that I liked real quick. There were some cute nods. You can tell that someone on the team did enjoy the games. Okay? We have a BFG. The BFG shows up. They use it twice and it doesn't fucking work.
He doesn't kill anybody with
it. He
it.
misses both times he uses it.
In the game, if you close your eyes and point at the ceiling and shoot the BFG, you still kill something.
Again, it's like they'll get so close to doing something right and then they'll just veer in the opposite direction. But the BFG does show up and they do call it the big fucking gun.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Another thing I actually really enjoyed, and we didn't have a decent place to put him, to talk about him, but there is a character in the movie named Pinky.
Yeah.
And he does, in fact, turn into a demon. And Pinky Demon, if you play the game, you know that's one of the guys. Also, he is probably my favorite character in the movie. He was so fun. He was nice, I thought some of his parts were funny.
Yeah, he was. He was funny.
I liked the concept of him.
He was your favorite character?
He was. Pinky was my favorite character.
He had about 6 lines and probably 4.5 minutes of screen time.
And the guy who was playing him, who is not Fred Armisen,
looks just like him.
Looks so much like Fred Armisen.
We were both convinced.
We genuinely thought it was Fred Armisen. We went into this episode ready to call him Fred Armisen, but
I was ready to pencil him in, dude.
Last minute, we took another look. It is not Fred Armisen. But he's also, ironically, giving probably underneath Richard Brake, probably one of the best performances in the movie.
Yeah.
He was doing the best with what he was given, and I like the nod. I think that's cute. On the topic of the first-person shooter section, again, concept versus execution. In concept, that is a great idea for a Doom movie. I love that idea. In execution, it looked like shit. And also, didn't even resemble the shooting you do in Doom.
Yeah.
It was very much more so a Call of Duty-esque sequence, which at that point, why do it at all, right? The gun was CG. I'm 90% sure the camera movements were CG, which did not look good, especially because Doom, especially classic Doom, its whole thing is the rigid camera movements for your shooting. It's just, first-person shooter segment in a Doom movie, great on paper. When they put it into execution, I think they really, really fumbled on that. However, he does use the chainsaw, which is nice, and I do think they contextualize the chainsaw very well. It is So on top of this research base, what they are researching is an archaeological dig site on Mars, which is where they find the remains, where they find out about the virus, whatever. And their tool of choice are very chainsaw-esque mining tools.
Yeah.
I question the practicality.
Yeah, man. Shout out to whatever that YouTube video was.
Yeah. Wasn't it G-Man?
Nope, it was not
It
G-Man.
was not.
Yeah, it sounds like something he'd say.
It does. I was convinced it was. Shout out to that YouTube video. If you know, you know.
Yeah. It's me and you, buddy.
Just us, yeah. Bonus points to anyone who can find that video and link it in the comments.
Yeah.
But that was nice. It was nice that someone on the team gave at least a little bit of a shit.
Yeah.
Nobody else did. Some cute things that I would add, just to throw on top of those things. One, Karl Urban is definitely supposed to be Doom Guy. He gets the super serum, which is like gives him the strength to be Doom Guy. His call sign should have been Guy. That is what I would have done. I also would have made him wear green as opposed to everyone else.
See, that would have been cool if this movie had the balls to be self-aware.
Yes.
And just have fun.
Which it does not.
No,
it did for a half second with the first-person shooter sequence, but it was shitty, so they don't get points for it. And I think that's all I have to say about it. So for me, personally, Doom 2005 gets a 3 out of... Actually, you know what? I didn't want to be mean, but I also don't want to lie. 2.75 out of 10.
I'm glad you did that because this is crazy. This
no fucking
crazy.
Way. Don't bullshit me right now with a 2.75.
No.
Okay. I was gonna say that's far too specific for us both to have.
No. Close. This movie, I told Brett I kind of had some pleasant memories about this movie. Of course, it came out in 2005 when I was like in 6th grade. I was an idiot in 6th grade, as we all were. This movie has no interesting characters, no interesting dialogue. There's some cool set design, some cool practical effects. They take up about 3.5 minutes of screen time. There's no good fight sequences. Even whenever our Space Marines are killed one by one, they're the most boring deaths I've ever seen. One guy dies by literally just getting smacked around in a toilet stall.
Yes.
Like he just gets
I completely forgot about that.
Slammed back and forth against the stall walls and he dies. The movie looks like shit as far as like any cinematography, lighting. You didn't even say anything about it.
Yeah,
the camera zooms.
Yeah,
sucked.
dude, the cinematography in this movie and especially the editing is just, again, with that first-person shooter sequence, you can barely even fucking tell what's going on in half of those shots. And in a lot of the other shots that are just like normal, like conversations, they'll do these super dramatic and over-the-top, like quick, like run-up zoom-ins on the person saying their sick one-liner, and it just doesn't work. I don't believe it's coming from a place of self-awareness. Like you said, I think they thought it was cool. And it's not.
Something else I want to say, I'm a big score guy. I like a movie with a good score. And as I said earlier, Clint Mansell, this dude is really good and totally underutilized. I don't even remember the score at all in this movie, other than the sequences where there was supposed to be quote unquote action happening. It tries to play homage to like the original Doom.
Softest metal you've ever heard in your life.
Well, and that's okay playing that corny, shitty metal if they're actually doing cool Doom shit, but they're not.
No,
it all falls together as this movie is not good at all. It is a bad movie. It is a boring movie. I was embarrassed to tell you that I wanted to watch this over Doom Annihilation. I
doubt it would have been much better. Maybe like funnier in the way that it's bad, but
I think I'm going to surprise you maybe just a little bit. I'm giving this a 2 out of 10.
Okay.
It was not good at all.
It's one of those things where like I can definitely think about parts that I enjoyed vaguely, but that adds up to about 5 minutes of a 2-hour long movie.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. This thing felt like it was 3 hours long.
I will never watch this movie in its entirety ever again.
Nope.
If a clip pops up of one of the few parts that were like kind of interesting, we're like, oh yeah, that was a neat part. And then it will be gone from my brain again.
The only time this movie made me smile was whenever The Rock was saying something really stupid.
But yeah, just it's a movie that happened, and the world is not better because of it. Hopefully, I would like to see them take another stab at it and make a proper, just give us the Doomslayer, give us his suit, let him rip and tear until it is through, and you'll have, again, it's like, it's the fucking, as we talked about in the news episode, it's the Blade problem. It's something that should be such a simple layup that for some reason they just keep overthinking.
Yeah,
Occam's razor. Occam's razor, everybody. Simplest solution is usually the right solution. Just give me a yoked motherfucker with a shotgun killing demons from hell.
Yeah, Doom would not be hard at all. Like,
No.
Just have the film start the same way Doom 2016 does.
Wake that bitch up. Tell him to get to work.
He wakes up, he has to escape from hell with nothing but his double-barrel shotgun and chainsaw in hand.
Yeah. Big, and I was expecting... I was hoping I was gonna like it. I was hoping for like a, you know what, for what they were going for, it was decent.
Right.
But it was not. If you took the Doom title away from this movie, nothing would change. You could call this movie anything.
Yeah.
And you would not be able to tell that it was supposed to be a direct adaptation of Doom. You would maybe think, oh, that's cute. The guys behind it like Doom a little bit.
Yeah.
But you would not say this is a Doom movie.
Yeah, you would not know.
No.
I think that is all I have to say about Doom 2005.
This is probably the most anyone's ever talked about it.
We've doomed more than Doom 2005 doomed.
We have. This episode is more faithful to the Doom source material than Doom 2005.
I think that's everything, Brett. Go ahead and slap them socials.
All right.
down.
We will get you guys out of here. If you'd like to follow us anywhere, you can do so on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Real Rendezvous. All one word, spelled as it always has been. Shoot us some messages. Tag us in things. Give us suggestions for videos or topics you'd like to see reviewed and discussed. And other than that, we love you. Have a great day.
We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.